All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hippest Trip on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I have a special surprise today. Me and my nephew, Leo, right here. Look, don't be throwing no gang signs. Oh, okay. he's uh he's interested in learning how to do some YouTube streaming and podcasting. So I showed him kind of behind the scenes how that's going. For you guys just tuning in though, could you make sure, since I'm using this new format, I need to make sure you guys see us and the sound's working right and everything. Could you drop something in the chat that says, hello, yeah, it's streaming right. I can hear you fine. You look fine. So just let me know when you arrive. So we are going to have a quick discussion because he wanted to see how things were done. So I showed him behind the scenes. There. So Marina, I appreciate you showing up. And there you are. See, so this is, I'm showing Leo behind the scenes a little teaching lesson. So this is the stream from the chat from YouTube. And this is what they're seeing here. It's going to show up on the screen. Because YouTube doesn't automatically show the chat. So we have to run that through. So you guys can hear us and can you see us okay? I'm making sure the webcam works. Okay, great, thanks. So this is my nephew. Me and Leo, we're buds. He took an interest in, he's pretty much, I think you're the only one in my family that actually watches anything I do. Except, well, no, my dad. My dad watches stuff once in a while. But Leo actually, sometimes you'll see him pop in and say hi on a stream. And I think a lot of kids your age are interested in streaming these days, right? Like a lot of your friends want to learn how to podcast and stuff?
Yeah.
So what's that, do you have any friends who actually have their own channels or anything like that?
No.
What age do you have to be before they allow you to start doing that? I never really looked.
13.
13?
I've become a teenager, so.
Okay. So at 13, I know some of you guys watching, maybe your kids have put some stuff up. Ah, look, he says hello. Shar says hello to you, Leo. And yeah, he's, there seems to be an interest in, especially, you know, with the gaming and all that a lot of kids your age watch other kids play games or adults play games and stream stuff or watch crazy stuff on YouTube. And so it's a very different culture now because like when we were young and we had 4 channels, there wasn't a YouTube. We kind of mimic what we saw on TV. You know, we'd go watch He-Man and then go fight each other and, you know, chase each other like, you be Skeletor, I'll be He-Man or whatever. Where these days, the kids are watching, they're YouTube streamers, like real life YouTube. They don't watch TV anymore. They watch YouTube and Netflix and stuff. Like, when's the last time you've seen a live commercial on TV?
It's actually been recently.
Really? You guys have cable?
Uh,
I thought you guys stream everything.
No, we have cable, but we can also we like to watch recorded things and like fast forward through the commercials normally.
Which is a good thing. If you have kids, it's good not to let them watch commercials because then they want everything. Is that true? Do they like, hey, what is that? There's toys here. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to talk about, because Leo's been watching stuff on the internet, and I was really surprised when he said he wanted to talk about simulation theory. And I was like, what does a 12-year-old know about simulation theory? So first, how do you learn things like this? Because I didn't know about that stuff.
Well, on YouTube, you know how there are like multiple categories of different, like, oh, on this part of YouTube you got all the like tutorials on things, video games. There's like a side that's like all educational and it teaches you about things. And normally they put in a bunch of like graphics and all sorts of fancy. The entire thing is animated, but they like show you interesting facts, and you don't even know you're learning. You think you're just watching a story, but you're actually learning something, and you're gonna learn from.
So you just kind of randomly surfed onto these science channels on YouTube and started learning some kind of deep stuff, and I was like, wow, how do you know what simulation theory is? Because we talk about some pretty out there stuff on this show sometimes, and one of the things that come up a lot is simulation theory, which means, for you guys listening that maybe don't know what we're talking about, that none of this reality and what we see is real. This is kind of like a video game we're playing in, but we don't realize it. That if the video game was so good that you wouldn't know, you could be just like a brain in a box somewhere playing a video game, or you could be a spirit from the other side, or some sort of, you know, like just intelligence that's running this game here. And for you guys that don't know what I mean is some of you guys don't game. So there are video games where people from all around the world can play this one game together and see each other and interact live, and you get so immersed that sometimes you forget you're playing a game. And you know, if you've been playing for hours, you're like, you forget where you are. You're totally involved in this game, and it becomes real. Like when this might date me, but there was something called like Second Life and The Sims and stuff like that, where people were playing God and controlling. Well, the idea is that there's a, you know, down here in this reality that this might be just a simulation, maybe a computer simulation, maybe something else. So tell me what a 12-year-old knows about simulation theory.
Well, let's start off. Your body might be fake. Your body could be fake. Everything could be fake. It's probably just your spiritual conscience. And in school they normally teach you, like, you have an immune system and like blood. How do you know that there's blood, and how do you know you're gonna die if you haven't died yet, or like without cutting open yourself and looking inside of you? How do you know there's actually stuff there?
That's
and
true.
Maybe right when you see it, it appears there. Maybe it's fake until you actually look there.
Yeah, there's interesting ideas. It's kind of like a computer screen, that there's just data everywhere. And until you actually tell the computer, hey, I want to look at this, it's just a big data cloud. And then all of a sudden it puts an image up in front of you. So you're saying that, how do we know the stuff we're being told is real until we actually slice our arm up and see the bloods and guts? And then does it appear right then?
Yeah.
Maybe it does, you know, the Schrodinger cat sort of thing.
There's nothing behind you. You can only see what's in front of you. You can't see what's behind you. But until you actually turn, maybe there's nothing behind you before you turn around.
Right. It's just like Leo plays a game called Destiny 2. And you're walking around, and all you see is your view. So the computer does not, behind him on the computer doesn't exist until he turns around and looks at it, and then the computer takes all the pixels and puts what's there. And then when he turns away, it disappears back into the cloud. So how come real life can't be like that? Maybe this reality here is the same way, that it is only, like your eyes are like a monitor, and you can only see a certain thing. And then once we look away, it goes back into the cloud, and, you know, it comes back out when we decide to look for it again. So yeah, there's some people here talking about the Matrix. Did you ever see the Matrix movie, or is that too young?
It's pretty old, but
yeah, it's an old movie.
It's an old movie, but I mean, I could see it.
Do you understand? I don't know if you've been told what the concept is.
Yeah, I understand the concept of it.
Yeah. All right. So people are saying hello to you, Leo. You got fans. Hi. So I'm sitting here going, you know, when we were 12, we weren't talking about a holographic universe and all that. And that's another name for it, a holographic universe. These theories had been around a long time, but nobody really. You know, young, we were, although we kind of understood what a different reality was. When did you start figuring out that kind of talk? Because I'm wondering, at what age can you understand, oh, maybe there's this reality and there's another reality right here, and we can't see it? And
actually, 3 years ago, I was just playing around on the playground with my friends, and I just started thinking, wait, so what if my friends are fake? What if they're robots?
Yeah.
And they're pretending to be my friends, but they're not, and they're just here, and they're fake. And then I was like, maybe I'm fake. Maybe I'm a robot, and they're the one that's controlling me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and how would you know? I mean, you really can't tell until, like, how would we know we're in a fake reality?
Yeah, in fact, am I even controlling myself? Is somebody else controlling me to think I'm controlling myself?
Mm-hmm. And even deeper is, maybe all the memories you have were implanted 3 seconds ago, that you just appeared, and all that stuff has just been downloaded into you, and you're like, oh, those are my memories. You know, how do we know what time is, or if, you know, we could just be living this second? And
maybe there's a puppet master, let's say, that's controlling all of us, but then there's a puppet master controlling him, who's controlling us. And
do you know what a fractal is? Have you learned that yet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, some people think that maybe, you know, the universe is a fractal. So if somebody's controlling someone, on top of them, someone's controlling someone, someone's controlling someone. It's like endless. Or that we're a reality, you know, on top of another reality, on top of another. And when you affect one, it goes all the way through to all the other realities and stuff. It's pretty deep, man. So let's see what kind of questions people are asking. Homer says, I remember when I was very young, 4 or so, I thought, what if the world's a video game? Of course, there was no deeper thought. Yeah, 4? You're thinking that? That's pretty deep, man. Um, and if you guys have any questions for Leo, see what a talk is. So let's see. Master Richie talks about a higher self controls. The Reverend Hull says there'd be no reality then. Yeah, this is tough because we're so used to being involved. And I keep going back to a video game because it's kind of like what I understand. Sometimes I'm playing a video game with all the lights off, and my brain checks out where I am at. That I get so involved in the video game, nothing else matters. Like the cat could walk by, I wouldn't notice. You know, something could happen in the back of my room, I wouldn't notice. I'm really focused on this game, and then when I get killed, I come out of it and I'm like, oh, that was fun. Do you think this reality is kind of like that? That when you die, all of a sudden you pull out of the game?
Yeah, I also think, really, if because there's really nothing that can stop this, so you could, it's not very important to like think about this your entire life. I think we should just focus on kind of like playing video games our entire life or having fun entire life instead of trying to figure out maybe there's a way we can get out of this like life, because right now, I mean, there's really no reason why you would break this or do anything to it, and I think we should just try to try to survive.
Survive the game?
But yeah, try to survive the game as long as we can.
Well, there's a theory that we're here in this reality just to get experience points, like to just experience this place and enjoy it. So if you're very aware you're in a video game,
yeah,
you can't really experience it fully. You have to kind of forget you're in a game and play this here, so you can collect experience points. You can be like, oh, I talked to this person, I did with this, I had a relationship.
People think, well, if this is a video game, if I kill myself, I'll be alive. Well, why don't you kill yourself? Because there's a chance you're not going to revive. Maybe once you kill yourself, something bad's going to happen. So you really just play with it. Just if it's a video game, play it then. I think about it like that. If it's a video game, you're going to play the video game. That's the entire purpose of the video game. So.
And that's pretty deep for for you to understand it. There's a lot of us adults that just can't let go and enjoy reality. We're always wondering what if or what's going on and what is, and we got a kid here being like, man, just enjoy the place, experience it, play it like it's a game, and that's pretty deep, man. That's a good realization, because I have a hard time, like you said when you were first looking at your friends and being like, I wonder if they're robots, or it's hard when you first start exploring these questions to cut it off, because you'll become obsessive. Like, well, none of this is real, none of that's real. Why am I doing this? Why am I going to school if none of this is real? Yeah, you're here to experience things and experience life, and it's a pretty neat concept. But one of the big theories they have is if you were in a computer game, like all this was a matrix, the only way you would ever know you're in a matrix is if it started glitching. Like if all of a sudden, you see a ghost, or there's some sort of break in the matrix, or like a lot of people with the Mandela effect, they think there's something weird going on because we got two different memories of stuff. So,
or you don't remember yesterday, but you remember the day after yesterday.
Yeah, missing memories.
Or you remember something, and then a second later, you don't remember it, but you remember remembering it, kind of.
Yeah, and there's a big bunch of us that watch this that have completely different memories of everyone else, and there's thousands of us, and it's like, how could we all have these memories? And we think that maybe like the Matrix glitched out. Imagine this thing's a computer game. Well, there's going to be glitches every time they run an update. Every time there's a software update, we feel like maybe they erase memories, and they're like, this thing that we want to change. We want to change it in everybody's memories. Like, this is the way we want you to remember it happened. And then some people remember it, and some people don't. So it'd be like, an example, we want New Zealand to be here on the globe, but now we want to move it. Well, some of the people remember the old place where New Zealand used to be, and everybody else remembers the new place. And that's happening right now, and it's really confusing a lot of people, because there's all these memories of, but like you said earlier, how do you know it's real until you cut the arm open and look inside? How do you know New Zealand even exists until you fly out and go to New Zealand? Like, a globe is just this picture that other people are giving me.
Sometimes I think it's other humans that kind of control you. I forget. What's that TV show and movie called? They put the guy in the dome. They have a giant dome, and there's a guy inside of it, and everybody in the dome is an actor,
Oh, the Truman Show.
Yeah, the Truman Show. That's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm like in the Truman Show, and I'm like, I've never left this area. I've never left America ever.
Right.
And I'm not sure if maybe these other countries don't exist or continents.
How do you know they're not just making a set somewhere and being like, you get in a plane, you fly around a circle, come back down, and you wouldn't know? You know, all of a sudden you're just over here in a set that's hey, this is your experience of New Zealand or whatever. You really, it's hard to tell unless you're the one flying the plane. It's tough. So, yeah, I have a hard time with it. And it's some deep thoughts, but I'm seeing more and more glitches, and a lot of people are seeing glitches, and it's kind of like, it's kind of reinforcing to me that maybe the people that believe this are onto something, because how does reality glitch? You know, I mean, like, it has to be a program if it's glitching. So, it's pretty deep. Do you have some other ideas on this topic you want to talk about?
I mean, not really.
Okay. I just didn't know if I want to make sure you get everything in that you wanted to say. And with the simulation, some people believe that when you die, it's just like pulling back from a video game. So say me and you know each other, and we decide to play a game together, and I say, I'm going to be a bad guy, you be a good guy. And then the next time we play, we switch. You be the bad character, I'll be the good character. Like, we're playing Star Wars, and I decide to be, you know, the Sith, you decide to be the Jedi, and then you're like, you know, I played this character to death, I'm going to switch over. Like, did you ever play Star Wars or Fable or something where you can be good and bad?
I haven't.
You haven't done that yet?
Well, there's this one game I just started playing it. It's called like Infamous Second Son, which is, the entire purpose of the game is you make choices in the game constantly, and there are good choices and bad choices, and the more heroic you are, the more like things you can do. But there's one side of it that you get a bunch of cool things if you're good, but if you're bad, you also get a bunch of cool things that do something totally different.
And you're seeing that there's more games that give you moral choices, good and bad, and a lot of people believe that's what this is here. That, you know, we're super experienced in a game, and then all of a sudden our character dies, and then me and you both pull out of the game. Like, I wait for your character to die. You know, it might be 20, 30 years, maybe. I hope to live really long. And then, then after that, we both meet up in an afterlife and say, okay, that was fun. Let's play again, but this time you come in as, you know, an old man, and I'll come in as a little baby, and I'll be a girl, and, you know, I'll be really good, and you be really bad, and, you know, and we just keep playing these games over and over and over until we're sick of the game.
Yep, and like all the characters in the game, like there would be other characters, but they would be fake, but they would think they're real.
Yeah.
Which I always think maybe somebody else is in the simulation and you are the simulation that they're in, kind of, where you're fake.
Yeah, there's
real.
There's a theory that each of us, all, you know, I'm my own spiritual self, you're your own consciousness here, that we're playing in the same land. We're playing on the same server, but we're all experiencing our own reality. That I'll experience my own reality, and as soon as we walk apart and do stuff, you're going to experience your own reality. And our realities can get very different if we never really come back together. That it's kind of like if we're playing Destiny 2 and I go level up a character by fighting it like crazy, and, you know, I'm whatever blowing up bad guys, and I get my character awesome, and your character, you don't play it very often, and you just kind of chill out, that we end up starting to have two completely different characters and experience. That's the same kind of thing here, is they feel that everybody sort of has their own reality, and if enough people, we've all agreed to play in this playground, but we can have very big differences in our reality, that I can remember something you didn't because you didn't do it, or vice versa. And like you're saying that there's some part of this that there are characters here that are the computer characters that talk to you. You can interact with. You ever gone to a video game where they have like a shop and you can go to the blacksmith and buy swords and stuff like that, and that guy thinks he's real. You know, you talk to the blacksmith, he has a storyline, and you know he wants you to do a quest or something like that,
But
and he thinks he's real, but you know it's just a computer.
yeah, and then sometimes.
And then you play, and your buddy's playing with you, and he's real.
I don't know, some characters in video games I don't like super well, which is most of them really. Where every single time you talk to the character, they say the exact same thing. Hello, my name is Bobby. I blah blah blah. And then
thanks for coming to my
like,
shop.
and then I leave, and then I come back, and you're like, "Hello, my name is Bobby. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello." And it's like,
it's like
not
a robot.
know me. Hello, who are you? I haven't seen you before.
It's like a dog where you come in and they get excited every time you're there. Hey! It's like no time went by. Have you ever met someone in real life like that you feel like repeats themselves, or you meet them and they never remember who you are? And I mean, have you had that experience? Maybe to some degree.
I don't think so, actually.
See, I feel like I've seen the same person a few times. Like the dude who delivers my packages for UPS also looks like the guy that just drove by me an hour ago. And then, you know, I'll go to the mall and I'll see the same guy. You know, like God or whatever, it runs out of faces and just keeps using this one dude over and over. I've seen that a few times, and I'm like, oh, that could be a glitch. Now, why do I keep seeing the same? Unless everybody's just starting to look alike. What are we talking about here in the chitty chat? And there's a lot of good conversation going on here. They're mainly talking, let's see, Homer and Banjojo. Hey, thanks for coming, Banjojo. If you have any questions for us directly, this is going to be kind of short because, believe it or not, where are we going tonight? Where are we going? Right here. Count Gordeval, we're going to interview him, this guy. And since this is Halloween, he is a horror host from way back here in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to a live event with Leo. And we're going to live stream a little bit while we're there, and I'm also going to get like a real interview on top of that. This should be a lot of fun. If you don't know what a horror host is, you might have heard of Elvira or something like that when you were little. It's the guys that dress up and then they show the old black and white movies. We are going to see... But we remember the movie? I Was a Teenage Werewolf.
Yeah, I was a teenager.
1954, black and white with Michael Landon before he admitted, he has his Jewish name in that, before he changed his name. He's like Erowitz something. He's a very, very Jewish name. Like before he tried to hide he was Jewish, and he was on Little House and stuff. So that'll be really interesting to see Michael Landon young. You guys can see the chat going by, and what I was going to ask is I'm still trying to get used to this new format, and if somebody can unsubscribe and resubscribe, it will drop a graphic on the bottom, and I want to make sure that still works, because I am totally messing with the format, and I don't know if this works.
Subscriber count's going to drop.
I know, it's going to drop by 1, but then I'll get it back.
Yeah, maybe 5 people are going to try to do it.
There you go.
It might glitch out, who knows?
That is true. You know that I'll have to come back, but that story where I dared YouTube to demonetize, guess what? It was demonetized. I shouldn't have dared them. So yeah, the whole show I did was about puppies and kittens and just showed pictures, and so I was like, there's absolutely nothing offensive on this, and they still demonetized. So thank you, YouTube, for that. Okay. So I am going to say goodbye if nobody... Oh, there we go. Homer did it. Unsubscribe, resubscribe. If we do this, you should see a catnip cat come up. There he is. There's Homer's catnip out cat. And that's what my cat looks like every time I put nip. We have a nip in a spray bottle. Because, you know, catnip is this mint, which I actually grow in the yard. And we grew it in the yard, and like 10 cats came to this yard. And they just hung out like it was their own opium drug den. They were all like high and laying in the grass together. And it kind of like, these cats were all fighting until I grew the catnip, and now they're all like peaceful and chill, like hanging out with each other. So I don't know what's going on with that catnip. And you know, if you don't talk to your cat about catnip, nobody else will. You have to have a sit down and be like, you've used it too much. But the cat is just, they get out of control. So Cool Cat is definitely addicted, and we got the oil's infused from this mint into a spray, and you could spray it on things you want him to play with. So you like spray it in his ball of yarn, and he'll attack the yarn and get all crazy doing it.
Sounds like a good
Oh.
way. If their intruders come to, just spray the spray bottle on them, and the cats attack them.
He might rub up all sweet on him though. I don't know. He loves that stuff, but yeah, attack spray would be a great idea. If you have any questions for us, we are going to bail out of here because we're going to stream again later today. But wanted to make sure that Leo got a chance to do this and see how it's done. Did you have any questions about how the streaming stuff? You think so? You understand this is OBS. That's the chat, and then everything else we set up. So I'm trying to teach the younger generation, mold the youth into apparently, I don't need to do much because you know more than I do. So I don't know how that happened, but you do. Well done. I don't think I was doing anything but trying to get a girl to kiss me at 12. I don't know. So we won't talk about that on her. Other than that, oh geez, everybody is just talking about these other things. We are going to be back on the air. I'm going to live stream at 4:15. Also, in the description, you'll notice there are links to my Amazon page. So if you go shopping this week on Amazon, I'd really appreciate if you swung through my link first. Don't go to Amazon and shop, because then it doesn't count. You have to actually go through my link, then shop. And then it's good to go, and it keeps track of it for about a day. So that really does help bridge the gap. Apparently, I'm getting demonetized from talking about kittens and puppies, so I don't know what's next. We'll see about that. But I hope some of you guys join us for the live chat tonight. So is there any questions you got, or for the audience, or anything you want to say before we part off? No, easy. Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right, so we'll say, do you know my close? It's stay positive, support each other, and you never watched the end of the show, do you?
I never finished.
Be nice to your cat. That's how we end the show. We say be nice to your cat, because you got to be nice to the animals out there. Yep. So you have to be nice to a cat, and everybody seems to own a cat. All right. That is it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you I'll see you later tonight, and we are outie.